I never thought I'd catch my wife in an act of betrayal through something as mundane as a laundry receipt. My wife, Mia, and I had been married for 7 years. While we weren't perfect, I believed we were solid. We had built a life together, with a home, 2 kids, and a shared love for hiking and cooking. Recently, however, I noticed subtle changes in her behavior. She became distant, often glued to her phone, and frequently slipped out to run errands at odd hours. Initially, I attributed it to stress from work and family, thinking she might need space. One afternoon, while sorting bills, I stumbled upon a laundry receipt from a place we didn't use, addressed to a different name. My gut twisted. When I confronted her that night, she brushed it off, claiming it was a mix-up from a friend. I wanted to believe her, but something felt off. Weeks later, at a neighborhood barbecue, I overheard friends discussing a hot new couple at the gym, and their description eerily matched Mia. My heart dropped. I didn't think much of it until I noticed Mia working out more frequently. She had always been fit, but now it seemed like an obsession. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The more I looked, the more inconsistencies I found. I discovered a mysterious charge at a restaurant we hadn't visited. Digging deeper into her finances, I uncovered charges at unfamiliar places, often at odd hours when she claimed to be working late. One day, I decided to follow her after she said she was meeting a friend. I parked a few streets away, my heart racing. What I saw shook me to my core. She wasn't meeting a friend. She was with a man I didn't recognize. They hugged, and nausea washed over me. I followed them to a coffee shop where they sat close, laughing together. In that moment, I realized I wasn't just losing a partner. I was losing the life I thought I had. When Mia finally came home that night, I confronted her. "Who is he?" I demanded, feeling the weight of betrayal in every word. Her face went pale, and for a moment she froze, like a deer caught in the headlights. She stammered, trying to deny it, then shifted to tears, claiming I was overreacting and that I was pushing her away. I felt like the ground was being pulled from under me. "You're lying to me to my face," I said, my voice trembling with anger. Her response was a mix of denial and manipulation. "You never listen to me anymore. You're always working," she shouted, twisting the knife deeper. A wave of self-doubt crashed over me. Was I really that inattentive? Was I to blame for her choices? The next few days blurred together. After sleepless nights, I decided to file for divorce. As heartbreaking as it was, I knew I couldn't be with someone who would betray me. I moved swiftly, gathering information and consulting a lawyer. I felt a mix of anger and sorrow. Some days I mourned not just my partner, but our entire future. Reflecting on the ordeal, I feel a mix of anger and sadness. I learned that signs of betrayal can be subtle, yet unmistakable if you look closely. I wish I had trusted my instincts sooner instead of letting love blind me to red flags. If something feels off, dig deeper. Trusting your gut can save you heartache. It's painful to lose someone you love, but it's even more painful to realize they never truly loved you back.
I never thought I'd be writing this, but here we are. I caught my wife cheating in the most unexpected way. Our relationship began 7 years ago, and despite the ups and downs, I believed we had something special. Lila was my best friend and partner, and I thought we had built a strong foundation. But in recent months, I noticed odd behavior. She was often distracted. Her phone was always face down, and she started going out more with the girls. I brushed it off, convincing myself it was just a phase. The first real alarm bell rang on my birthday. Instead of spending the evening together, she insisted on attending a last-minute surprise party with friends. I thought it was sweet until she left her phone on the counter. I picked it up, half expecting a calendar reminder or birthday message. Instead, I found a group chat filled with laughter and inside jokes about a guy named Jake. My heart sank. I didn't snoop further, but a shadow loomed over my evening. Weeks later, I was at the grocery store when I ran into one of Lila's co-workers. After exchanging pleasantries, she casually mentioned that Lila had been spending a lot of time with a certain Jake lately. I laughed it off, but inside, unease grew. The more I thought about it, the more those moments added up. Her flirtation with the barista, her sudden change in appearance. The final straw came when I overheard a conversation at a mutual friends gathering. Lila was in the other room, and I couldn't help but eavesdrop. She laughed with a friend about how Jake had helped her through a tough time, and I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. That evening, I confronted her, trembling and sick to my stomach. All I could ask was, "Is there something you need to tell me?" She acted shocked, then defensive, finally dismissive. "Jake's just a friend," she insisted, eyes darting away. I pressed further, mentioning what I'd heard and the oddities I'd noticed, the way her laughter changed when she spoke his name. She quickly turned the tables, accusing me of being paranoid and controlling. In that moment, disbelief and anger flooded me. "You're turning this on me?" I asked, my voice cracking. I felt trapped between betrayal and confusion. The emotional fallout was brutal. I spent the night pacing, fighting back tears. I thought of our early days, promises made during late-night talks, and how it all felt like a cruel joke now. Self-doubt crept in, making me question everything. Was I not good enough? Had I missed signs? I reached out to friends for validation and advice, but every conversation deepened my pain. After days of sleepless nights, I knew I had to make a decision. I didn't want to believe Lila could be so cruel, that the woman I loved could betray me like this, but I also realized I needed to protect my self-worth. I initiated the divorce. The moment I called my lawyer, a strange calm washed over me. This was my choice, my reclaiming of power. As I began the process of moving on, I reflected on it all. The vulnerability of love, the importance of communication, and how we sometimes ignore our instincts in favor of blind trust. To anyone reading this who might be in a similar situation, trust your gut. Look for the signs and don't let love blind you to the truth. You deserve loyalty, respect, and joy. It's devastating to realize that someone you loved could hurt you so deeply, but holding on to self-respect is ultimately the best choice you can make.
I never thought my world would crumble over a missing gym bag. My wife, Sarah, and I had been married for 7 years. For the most part, life was smooth. We met in college and built a life together, complete with a home, a dog, and a solid routine. We were the couple everyone envied, always laughing, traveling, and sharing inside jokes. But recently, I noticed little things that felt off. She'd come home late from the gym more often, and when I asked, she'd brush off my concerns, claiming she was just getting in extra cardio. I convinced myself I was being paranoid, but cracks began to form in my perfect picture. One evening, while organizing our closet, I stumbled upon her gym bag tucked away in a corner. It was odd since she usually left it by the front door. I opened it, expecting her workout gear, but instead found a receipt from a nearby hotel, dated 2 weeks prior. My heart dropped. I didn't confront her immediately. I needed time to gather my thoughts. Over the next few days, I became a detective of sorts, paying attention to her subtle movements. While walking our dog in the park one day, I overheard a couple discussing a girl spotted with a mystery man at that hotel. I couldn't shake the feeling it was Sarah they were talking about. It felt like the universe was nudging me toward a truth I didn't want to face. I decided to check our joint bank account. I hadn't done that in ages, but there it was. A charge for a fancy dinner at a restaurant I knew she didn't like. My mind raced as I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a work dinner, but then a couple of days later, I received an anonymous message on social media from someone claiming to be a friend of Sarah's. They mentioned seeing her with another guy at a bar downtown. My heart sank further. I couldn't take it anymore. The next night, I waited up for her, my stomach churning. When she finally walked through the door, I took a deep breath and asked,
"Where have you been?" She looked taken aback, almost nervous. I mentioned the hotel receipt, the dinner charge, and how I felt like I was piecing together a puzzle I didn't want to see. Her reaction was chilling. Instead of tears or remorse, she laughed it off. "You're being ridiculous. It's just a misunderstanding," she said, her voice dripping with condescension. When I pressed her, she turned the conversation into a cruel game of blame, painting me as the paranoid husband who couldn't handle her independence. "Maybe you should focus on being less controlling," she said, the words stinging. I felt like I was drowning. Shock turned to anger, then to pain. I didn't recognize the woman I married in that moment. I thought I knew her, but here she was, distorting the truth, making me question everything I'd believed about our relationship. It wasn't just about infidelity, it was about the betrayal of trust and the manipulation that followed. The following days were a blur of emotions as I tried to decide what to do next. I'll spare you the details of my sleepless nights and emotional breakdowns. Ultimately, I made the tough decision to move out. I filed for divorce, feeling both liberated and gut-wrenching pain. I was losing my best friend, but reclaiming my dignity. Now, as I reflect on everything, I think of the signs I ignored and the trust I naively held on to. To anyone reading this who might be in a similar situation, I urge you to trust your instincts. Don't brush off your gut feelings or let someone else's charm blind you to red flags. Betrayal can come from unexpected places, and it's okay to prioritize your mental and emotional health. I'm still healing, and I know it'll take time, but I'm learning to rebuild my life. In the end, I found strength in vulnerability, and while this experience has scarred me, it has also made me more aware and resilient. Trust is fragile. Handle it with care.